and we are live with episode 8 of Alpha for Everyone. It feels like we just started doing these, Brendan, yesterday, and I can't believe we're eight
Yeah.
episodes. We're 8 episodes in. We have tens of thousands of views across each of our episodes in the past. We've been very focused on what we've been building in the trading and AI space. But this is our first time broadening our horizons. And as part of our ongoing series, we're really interested in talking to people who are building in our space, people that we respect, who are doing really interesting things out there. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce Scott here, who is co founder and CTO of Kite AI. Kite AI should need no introduction. They've been absolutely killing it in the space in terms of the infrastructure they're building for AI agents. But I'm sure some of our community would love to know uh, at a very high level what you're building. So Scott, hi, welcome to Alpha for Everyone. I hope you can join us in future episodes as well. This is our first touch point. Please introduce yourself and a bit about your background.
Sure. Thanks, Zach, for introduction. Hi, everyone. I'm Scott, co-founder and CTO of Kite AI. I spent last 15 years in foundational data and AI infrastructure in Silicon Valley. Before Kite AI, I founded a streaming DB company called Rising Wave. It got 44 million investment. Tons of company actually in Web3 and Wall Street actually use the product. For example, I think this Kite is using the product to get the real time aggregation for the info file data. And then before that, I was the leading engineering at Uber. For a year and a half, I was an Uber engineering committee chair and review all the engineering design at Uber. And then I spent 4 years before Uber. I spent 4 years at Salesforce as well. One of the founding engineer at Salesforce Einstein Cloud, which is data and AI cloud. Yeah, so that's why I spent the last 15 years in building foundational data and AI infrastructure. Kite AI was previously building Zeta Block, which is data and AI infrastructure. We got all the major crypto company as our customer. In this case, it's a SaaS model, so including like Story, EigenLayer, Polygon, OpenSea, etc., and then Sui, etc. So basically, all the major crypto companies our customer, SaaS customer. What Kite built is actually based on one thesis that agents are actually smart enough in this case. It's actually all this start with a simple demo I did on this March. Maybe I can share my screen and then it's maybe easier.
Awesome.
Let's do
Yeah. Can you see my screen?
it. 1 second. I have to add you to the stage. And you are live, Scott.
Oh, you can see the screen. It's a terminal, right?
It's the terminal.
Yeah, perfect.
We're seeing it.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a demo I built earlier this March. In this case, so I haven't modified the demo, but it's actually, just to show people how powerful today's agents are. This is actually a local running agent. I name it as Jarvis, the same personal agent as Aeroman. And then I can say, hey,
I love it.
help me buy a burger from McDonald's. Use PYUSD to pay. Use Uber Eats and log in as last step. So this is actually where the whole idea of Kite started. If you look at this demo, you can see that agent is actually smart enough. In this case, what's preventing agent do everything for you is that agent don't have ID. For this particular case, from Uber Eats perspective, it's actually myself, Scott, log into the Uber website and then do all the actions, in this case, instead of agent. So in this case, agent is actually smart enough, they can do the things, but all the services, all those apps cannot recognize it's Scott's agent instead of Scott, Scott instead of Scott agent in this case. And then a second thing is that it don't have this end-to-end payment. So in this case, it's lacking of the ID, authentication, and payment. So that's what Kite AI is building for. First is that we are building an agent passport to represent the agent, and then let every single service and app realize it's a Scott's agent, Scott ChatGPT agent, Scott Cloud agent, or Scott DIY agent to do the work for Scott. Second is that not only you have this agent ID and authentication, you can complete these actions end to end. So that's actually, I'm gonna kill it. I don't want to actually order a burger now. So
That's
like
hilarious.
when I do this demo, sometimes I order Uber Eats and sometimes I order Uber cab. It's actually a general agent. It can help you to do all the delegation things. But sometimes it just I have tons of Uber trips just order waiting for me for 5 minutes and cancel because I do this 100 times already. Anyway, so you can see that what's missing is the ID authentication and payment in this case. And then from my perspective, agent are developer in this case. They actually prefer some money they can spend use API, which is stablecoin and blockchain in this case. So that's what Kite AI is building for. A layer one blockchain just for build for the agent ID authentication and payment. Yeah.
Nice. I love it. How do you think, Scott? I've got a question for you. When it comes to sort of trade automation and what we're kind of seeing in, perps AI agents that will kind of show a little bit more about what we're building in a minute. How do you think that payments fit into that market? So are you thinking like it really bridging agents to the real world in the example that you've given us with, going out and making an order or maybe doing an errand for you and having to pay for that, almost like your kind of personal assistant?
Yeah.
How do you see this kind of being adopted into trading agents where you might have an agent with an identity that's trading hyperliquid perps, for example, for you?
Yeah. So this is actually one of the closest use case I think is happening. When I mention payment, it's actually all
Yeah.
about money, programmable money in this case. So I think when we say, hey, like AI programmable money in this case is sometimes a little bit confusing. But you, for example, have an AI agent help you to manage a portfolio or help you do the trading from certain perspective. It's the same technology and same infrastructure required for the AI payment. So that's why people use the same agent passport we provide, and the AI payment settlement and execution layer can do the portfolio trading, portfolio management, and this token trading. And from certain perspective, I feel like it's going to be production market fit much faster for the agent to trade tokens instead of stock, because trading stock you still need to have the API, like agent to operate the API, from this, no matter from Nasdaq or from this SP
Mm.
500 or use Robinhood API. It's actually not battle tested. It's not polished. But if you use blockchain, every single blockchain operation its infrastructure is built from API first. In this case, like RPC endpoint API first, it's already battle tested. It's much easier to make it work for AI agent to trade. So that's why I feel like a agent to manage the portfolio, agent to do the trading is much easier to go mass adoption comparing to like stock trading, comparing to e-commerce in this case.
Yeah, yeah, and we see a lot of it. Like we've been building out a range of agents, for example, trading on Hyperliquid, which is their own chain attached to Arbitrum. We've then got, for example, Lighter, which is again its own chain, but you can kind of bridge in from Base. Sorry. Also got Asta, which is BNB chain. And then Polymarket, which is we've been building agents that also trade arbitrage opportunities on Polymarket, which we'll do a demo a little bit later on in the call. And one of the pain points that we're experiencing is how do you rebalance assets across different agents that are trading on different networks? So we might have an agent trading on Hyperliquid or Lighter, and that the agents are executing through those two venues, but centralized in their logic, and they have to move funds. Like maybe they're trading a delta neutral arbitrage strategy. They're borrowing on one, shorting, and then they're kind of longing on the other. They have to rebalance. So could we integrate with you guys to use that sort of arbitrage settlement layer within our agent network? Is that something that you think is a good use case?
Yeah, so I think first is that I think there's tons of opportunities still in the arbitrage and trading perspective. I have
Yeah,
been in
there
this,
is.
yeah, I have been in this industry, because Kite AI previously is called ZetaBlock. We provide AI infra and data infra for all the crypto companies. Like during 2022, there is tons of arbitrage opportunity. You can just manually set up like a notification, and then the arbitrage opportunity surface every few weeks, and then each time it actually lasts more than 12 hours, you can just manually do the trading and profit anywhere between a few $100K to a few $1 million in this case. It's just because arbitrage opportunity. I think since last year, the major trading volume moved from spot to the perps in this case. As you mentioned,
Yeah.
there is a what I say is that from console builder is that there is this delta neutral arbitrage trading opportunity. So it's just a buy and short at different platform and get money from funding rate in this case, because the funding rate is actually, you may have like a positive funding rate in one platform and have negative funding rate in another platform. They're actually very easy to get a few hundred APY, just build this delta neutral trading opportunity. For Kite in this case, for example, what we do here is that we provide, we're just more focused on agent perspective. I think the key value for Kite, building on Kite, in this case, it just provide, it's much easier to building an AI agent with agent passport provided by Kite. In that case, that you don't worry about the agent. You're farming like a 200 APY, but you don't need to worry about the agent actually go crazy and abuse money at machine speed in this case. So because in Kite, in Kite, for example, when when I show that every single agent spending will based on a session. Session is time and scope bounded in this case. So even if one session goes south, it could like have session, anything could go wrong. Like agent can go wild, or you could have like an issue, like your wallet is hacked. In this case, the blast radius for the session is controlled, so you only lost that during that session, which is time and scope bounded. Yeah. So Brendan, to answer your question, I definitely think Kite can support this.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, because it's a really big pain point, and I was on a call this morning with a team who are offering a really good way of shorting particular long tail tokens. It's actually Teller is the platform. They've been doing a range of like collateralized lending products for a very, very long time. They're based out of Austin, and essentially you can borrow a long tail asset. Like, I'll give you a good example from today. I'll kind of show you guys, and we're actually going to have Teller on as a guest in our first spaces back in the new year. But let me just quickly show you on Hyperliquid an example of what we're talking about here right now. Let me share my screen really quickly. We have so much that's coming down the pipeline. It's really exciting. We can get into more of it today. So we'll just take a look at the list of like funding opportunities right now. So Avant is a really good example here. I think Avant's annualized interest is 200 and, well, actually it's right now it's 955%. This does fluctuate. Like when we've done analysis over, like, let's say the top 10% of assets that experience the highest negative interest rates on Hyperliquid, there is a group of assets that exhibit a tendency to always having negative funding rates. Now, this means that if you're able to borrow the underlying asset and short it on another venue and go long on Hyperliquid or lighter, for example, you're going to collect the spread. And we're working with this partner. They actually just launched their first proof of concept product, I think yesterday or today. And we're going to build an arbitrage bot around this, or agent, where it will take a position out on the Teller platform automatically. It will short the asset at what is a lower interest rate. I think on Avant right now it's around 80% is what the actual interest rate is on the underlying, which allows you to collect, like in this case, up to about 900% spread. This may not live for very long. Like I said, there is a set of assets that exhibit negative funding rates consistently. And so long as those funding rates exceed 80% annualized in the example I'm giving you, there is this delta neutral arbitrage opportunity that you can take. And I was looking at an example of what our partner had done in terms of the proof of concept, and they were earning pretty significant amounts of USDC over the last 24-hour cycle by doing this. And in order to do this effectively, you've always got to be rebalancing between the assets that you have borrowed that you're shorting at a lower funding rate than the asset that you're longing. Because as you're longing here, like if you're taking out a long against this position here, you as the long are collecting your annualized interest rate. You're then wanting to short somewhere else at an interest rate that's substantially lower to collect the delta. And with this new platform, we have to do it. And what I'm hearing from what Scott is saying, which is really exciting, is a lot of the settlement infrastructure that needs to be built around, repaying back the underlying that's been borrowed, transferring assets into hyperliquid, rebalancing across different venues where you're collecting spread, can all be done through this kind of payment infrastructure. And again, as agent builders ourselves, the idea of building that infrastructure that settles between agent parties, we simply don't have the resources to build that and also build the agents themselves. So really exciting that we can collaborate and integrate with you guys, so as we can use some of these use cases, and we'll be launching that in the first 2 weeks of the new year for everyone, so as you can use it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just looking in the chat because there's a few people. This is a little later than what we normally do it. A lot of our audience is typically in the European region, so I think quite a few people are probably sleeping at the moment. But I was just seeing if we've got any interesting questions here.
We've got a good 168
I think someone's just
tuning in.
What's that, Zach?
Good 168 tuning in. Hey, everyone. If you're from the Kite AI community, welcome. If you're a gopher, you know the score. We're talking to the Kite AI co-founder and CTO, Scott, here on trading agent creation.
Yeah, and Scott, let's say more about the kind of use cases that you guys are seeing. We're really focused on financial. I'll give you an idea. Let's just kind of dive in. We'll kind of keep this a bit more dynamic. So we have a new release coming out. I was trying to push for it before the holiday, but I'm not going to. I just want to kind of touch on this for everyone that is looking at the market today. The model is generally saying to not trade the market right now after being relatively long out of the lows last week. For those of you that were trading our signals, you'll know that when Bitcoin was down here in the lows, in the 84s, 83s, everything was showing long signals up until about this morning. And this pullback here has kind of changed the market. So hopefully some of you got to kind of capture that move. I was actually on a call with a market maker on Thursday, and I was joking with them about the fact it was kind of signaling long on Thursday of last week. And I had a joke with one of our market makers yesterday saying that our signal was better than their signal, because they weren't convinced that the market was going to move back up. But obviously this is all a lower time frame move, and this is just pre-holiday de-risking. Nobody wants to be in TradFi or in New York in a position over the holiday. So expect things to go really quiet, and we're just going to have a week of choppy action. So I thought I'd touch on this, and I don't know if many of you have seen this. We've got a new UI here, but then on the agents that are trading in the background, this is some that we've had in the dev environment over the last 5 days. This is one of my agents that I put together here. And even through this chop that we've been seeing since probably Friday or Saturday, we've had some good returns on this one. For those of you that know Luca's agent that's typically trading, Luca's not done so well this week. I think it's because his agents typically trade memes, and memes have not been performing very well, whereas my agent is typically only on majors. Let's take a look at what it's actually been trading. I think we've been trading mostly, Hype, Sui, a bit of Farcoin. I've got it set up to only trade the most liquid tokens on Hyperliquid, and it's made about 250 trades over the last 4 days. This is just a limit on our front end that it shows, but it's actually 251 trades. We need to fix a bug here. And we've had some, as you can see, pretty good performance, although it's got an open position right now. It's shorted XRP just now. So It's currently trading like a degen. And for those of you that haven't seen the new UI, this is the new UI that's coming in the next release. And we will start having our own cohort of agents with the best models trading assets with Vault. So we'll be launching Vaults over the next week or two, where the first and the best sets of agents will have Vaults either on Hyperliquid, Lighter, or Aster as well, and you'll be able to deposit assets into those and get exposure to these agents. So this is what, just for kind of an update on we are with you, Scott. When I first met you guys, when you were Datablock, we were also Massa. We were doing data pipelines at the time, and we've completely shifted into our platform here, which is a full trade assistant kind of terminal for trading on Hyperliquid or Aster. You can basically chat about any of the positions that you have. We pull in data from a ton of data sources, including TradingView and like other exchanges. And we have like a really robust data pipeline now on the back end. And you can trade in and out on Hyperliquid. You can then discover which are the best assets to trade right now based on meaningful volume on Hyperliquid. This, I think, is the top 25 by volume. And then you can also launch right now trading agents. And this is our kind of experimentation arena here, where we've had, I think, 4,200 agents run by the community. But right now, this is just our dev instance that is not open to the public, and we'll be going to production over the coming week. We should be releasing the update on Monday, the 29th, I think is when it is. So yeah, I think as we grow, we'll have more and more agents that need identities from the community. Like we've had to cap the amount of agents that people are launching because demand has been so high and scaling to kind of. I'd love to talk to you a little bit more about like how you guys think about scaling with your product. Scaling's been really hard for us, like going from a few, let's say like 5, 10 to 20 agents to hundreds and then thousands. We really had to kind of like scale back and cap the number of people that were trading because scaling was becoming pretty challenging. So yeah, would love to know how you guys are finding scaling, how many agents you've got running across the platform, and what's your kind of most used use case at the moment? Who's the biggest user of the product?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I have been dealing with scaling all my career. Like Uber has a 30 million trip happening every day in this case.
So
like
crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think currently we are not actually in the territorial scaling at all in this case because Kite is actually not an agent building platform in this case. Like you should
Right.
probably, we don't want to do everything. We just want to focus on one thing, which is agent ID, authentication, passport, and payment in this case.
Yeah.
So we load test our blockchain currently is easily can support like 2,000 transactions per second. We can further tune it to support like a 5K or 10K transaction per second. But today, like I would say almost all blockchain are not bottlenecked by scaling. Probably only Ethereum still has a scaling issue, but everyone else,
yeah, right.
Everyone else don't have this scaling issue in this case. So that's why I think for us is that end-to-end use case in this case is more important. And in terms of end-to-end use case, like two end-to-end use case. One is actually on the AI trading. Like a trading agent is, I feel like it's already self-complete. Like the reason I'm super excited about AI trading agent is that they can just use passport and Kite, execution settlement layer, and can do the trading on all type of token and including Hyperliquid in this case. Perp DEX, DEX, and all type of token in this case. I'm super excited for this part. And then like it's self-complete loop in this case. The second use case I'm very excited to see is that people actually change the API call, the inference call to per usage base in this case. For example, I saw tons of the indie developer or agent developer, they develop an agent, and super cool, get a tons of attention, but they cannot make it a service in this case because they don't know how to charge the user for it in this case.
Right.
most of them say this is free, and then but they got tons
Yeah.
of traffic. They're paying like few $1,000s per day in this case, on behalf of their user. But in this case, if it can, tokenize it, and then instead of like, hey, I'm gonna charge you $20 per monthly subscription. Hey, you now have agent passport, and then you can pay per usage. Each usage is like 10 inferences only 1 cent, something like that. I think it's much easier to go mass adoption for this part. It's just I call it micro payment, or just a micro transaction for the inference or for the agent services. Maybe it's also called agent native transaction, agent native API call services. The third use case that we're thinking is agent e-commerce. For example, the Uber Eats ordering, shopping. This is actually happening as well. Agent are smart enough. We just all this platform, API platform, and the platform and the apps need to recognize it's Scott's agent instead of actually Scott. It's Brandon's ChatGPT agent instead of Brandon.
Yeah.
I think that's actually important. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think this is actually the use case we are looking towards to. I don't think we will reach scaling issue in any foreseeable future for a while, because 2,000 transactions per second is more than enough in this case,
Yeah.
to actually support it for next, I think 12 months to 18 months is more than
Yeah.
enough. So I think
Yeah.
people, I saw tons of L1 focus, hey, we are very best performant, QPS driven. I don't know what
Such a
you're talking
meme.
about. Like,
Yeah.
what you're talking about, like as if we don't have enough L1s actually who has most of blocks with as
I know.
idle,
I know. Show me the users first. This is great. It's really curious. Like, as a technical builder myself, how do you start with your layer one? Like, we've got a whole we've got a whole group of traders in the chat, but also like some technical people as well. We'd love to know more about like what your stack is behind the L1. Like, where do you start in kind of going for that kind of TPS? Like, what does your stack look like for getting out of the gate and building today? And what were your kind of design decisions? Like, I think that's just like an interesting thing to cover, because it's so easy to go complicated and really big really quickly, but it's often really hard to be lean and do what you're saying, which is give the user what they need today while thinking about what's needed in the future. And that's a really difficult calculus. So how did you guys start with that? And like, what's your framework and how did you start building?
Yeah, sure. That's a really good question, Brendan. This actually reflects our design philosophy. We think the real opportunity come from beyond the crypto user and crypto builder.
Yeah.
In this case, so Kite from day one is built for AI user and AI builder in this case. So like ideal, let me describe what's our ideal case. So I call it drunk grandma test. So I think 6 months of 12 months from now, even my drunk grandma can use it. Just follow the instruction. In this case, like you don't need to worry about your wallet. You don't need to worry about the secret key. You don't need to worry about this and that. How my drunk grandma will use it is that, I want my agent
Yeah.
help me to. I want my agent help me to reserve a party for my grandson's birthday, and then I just say, hey, help me book a party, and then agent will do the work for me and say, oh, you need money,
Yeah.
you need $200 as to book the party, book the room, and then I just transfer the money to my PayPal account, and then everything else done by the agent.
Takes care of
Just
itself.
one time, yeah. It's like a one-time delegation, one-time session, and then everything handled by the agent. That's actually I consider as an AI user how to use a product like ChatGPT plus Kite AI can do. But how it's done is actually existing blockchain cannot do this in this case, and it's also missing a layer. So that's why when we mention Kite AI, it's actually 2 layers. The underlying layer is a Kite AI blockchain, layer 1 blockchain. So what we do here is actually not very much. Honestly speaking, not very much. I want to keep it extremely simple. We are built on top of the Avalanche tech stack in this case. So,
Okay.
so basically, it's Avalanche L1 plus additional modification to make every single transaction, particularly if it's payment related, zero fee, zero gas fee. So
nice.
think about this. If it's not zero gas fee, what you need to do for this is that first you need to bridge stable coin to the this blockchain, and then you need to find a native token like Kite token to make sure you can execute all the command. But you need to buy the Kite token from somewhere. most likely Coinbase or Binance, I'm pretty sure my drunk grandma won't know how to do it.
Yeah, no.
You need.
I really want to meet your drunk grandma now.
Yeah, so
I
I'm
do.
pretty sure my grandma don't know how to buy Kite token. Why I just want to reserve a party. Why do I need to buy Kite token? Why do I need to
Absolutely.
bridge to my account in this case? So that's why on the layer one side, the currently feature and one of the major feature we deliver is zero fee. But more importantly, on top of this blockchain, zero gas fee. More importantly, on top of this blockchain is that we have this additional layer, which is make sure it's very easy for every single developer to get agent passport for every single of their user. So instead of have a give your agent a wallet and agent can abuse this wallet like crazy. We give every single agent a tier of wallet. So for example, I will have my list of wallet for my agent, and every single agent has wallet, but agent cannot spend money directly from wallet. Instead, they actually spend money from session, which is each session is a time and scope bounded delegation. For example,
yeah, I love that. Yeah,
it's like 24-hour party,
yeah,
$200 in this case. So that session
yeah.
only allowed to spend less than $200 in this case. And then
That's very cool.
so we abstract all this away for AI builder. You don't need to understand all the cryptographic thing, wallet, worry about wallet, private key management. You just use one API, and then that's actually Kite AI platform. You use one API, help every single user of yours create a agent passport, and then the agent can spend in a much more governance way in this case. And then so that's what Kite AI is built for. That's agent passport and zero gas fee stablecoin blockchain.
I love it. I was doing some experimenting this weekend on. I had to go to Polygon for one of our agents to trade on Polymarket, which I haven't been on Polygon for years. Actually, it's the first time I've been on Polygon for a very long time. And I was using a ledger that I hadn't used for a while to get some stablecoin into the agent's wallet. And of course, I needed Pol or Matic or whatever we're calling it today because of the rebrands into the wallet. And no matter how many times I tried, I just couldn't. It just wouldn't work. And this was like up-to-date MetaMask, up-to-date firmware. I had to go through like a different route, get a different wallet to be able to actually do this. And there were absolutely no trades that could be executed from the wallet I was using without having it go to like a sponsored relay on Polymarket essentially. And then in the end, like using the sponsored relay was fine. But if I wanted to have an edge in my trades, as in getting to the book faster, quicker, earlier with like lower latency, I need to use Pol. I need to use the native token, which is great in certain circumstances if you're all set up, but it's still a huge barrier to entry. Like if I wasn't able to use the relay network, I couldn't have executed any trades on the day, and it was that no reason why it shouldn't have worked. So yeah, I love this. Do you guys? So in terms of what networks you support, like you mentioned quite a few there. Like, are there any networks that you don't support, or is it any EVM, any chain? Like how do the assets come together?
Yeah, that's a good question. So currently, we integrate with layer 0 to make sure there is a seamless bridge across a major network. Initially on the roadmap, we currently just trying to focus on the two or three one, Ethereum, Avalanche, and Solana. That's actually Ethereum. Later on, we probably going to support Base and Hyperliquid in this case. Bridge to make sure it's an agent much easier to trade on Hyperliquid. User don't need to, like my drunk grandma will not be able to know what's Base and what's Ethereum. They just use it as it comes, and then it help her to finish her work in this case. We want to make a head away all the complexity on the blockchain, on the token side. In this case, just make it like seamless to use. Like we want to, I feel like so many things in crypto world, like day-to-day user don't care. Web2 user don't care. Like what blockchain, people don't really care as long as it fit my needs. Why do I need to care? The underlying is supported by blockchain, like similar to Polymarket in this case. Like token in this case, people really don't care. I only know USD. Why do I need to buy Kite token? Why do I need to buy Ethereum in this case? Like I think the whole design philosophy when I designed for Kite is that to minimum the friction, maximum adoption and utility. Yeah.
Nice. And like I think about this, we were building this data product for a long time as Massa and now Gopher, and we would do all of this scraping and data aggregation, and it was built for developers. And as agents started becoming the users of the data, the usage just exploded. So the more agents that we brought to the platform through developers, the higher the usage would be. And now the highest users of data on the platform are essentially agents at this point in time. And now, as I hear you talking, I'm thinking about like payments, right? There is this like wave of meta around stable coins and frictionless like peer-to-peer payments again. And what you guys are doing is you're essentially creating a service for all agents to transact between them, because I think ultimately in the end, the majority of commerce, the majority of usage of the internet, the majority of communication on the internet, if it's not this year, if it's maybe 2 years, if it's 4 years from now, is all going to be agent dominated, and the growth in usage that comes from agents is going to be so exponential, way more than what we think is going to happen from like stablecoin payments, like being integrated into like your app. It's gonna eclipse and outgrow all of that. So I totally get it, and I love what you guys are building.
For sure. Yeah, Brandon, I just want to echo what you mentioned here. Like the demo I built is actually in March. I don't have time to improve it much, but even during March, like for example, it's a general agent. Help me order Uber is like 90% accuracy rate. Like I try it 100 times, it will 90% get me actually a real Uber. Uber is I think it's about 60 to 70 in this case, but remember all this agent accuracy and precision is actually improved double every 7 to 9 months. Switch it to the latest model, vision model in this case, and then I feel like it's almost make no mistake. For example, when I demo it, it's actually clearly go to McDonald's and order a Big Mac, almost like to the last step to actually to click delivery for this. I think it's already like it's probably faster than most people participate. Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, I'm loving the conversation. I think we're going to bring one of our team on, Scott, who's going to kind of dive into a little bit more of some of the new product. We've been talking about Polymarket. We've been building a Polymarket arbitrage agent or bot, however you want to kind of like do it. And part of like the goal of Alpha for everyone, like I'm looking at numbers, we've been about 400 today, I think peaking around there. Which is a good number. We normally have like 12 to 1600 people on the stream, and again, just like to kind of drop some trading meta for them. And one of the things that we're seeing, and yeah, grab Grant if he's around, bring him up. We can have him on here and add him into the conversation. One of the things that we've seen really blow up over the last month, and Grant has been really dialed into this, is the growth of Polymarket and how Polymarket has just been expanding in the context of, I'd say, softer US regulation. And there are many opportunities that are coming out of the Polymarket ecosystem that I think are very interesting for people that are always looking for alpha and trading these new meta. I think you lost him, Zach.
I did. He has a VPN running, which I don't StreamYard like, so I've asked him to take it off. I'm going to try and add him again.
Of course he does. Yeah, that's funny. He probably has it for the actual demo. That's funny.
Yeah, Scott, just before we start our demo, I want to thank you for joining us and providing all that interesting insight. I can think of so much connective tissue between what we're doing and what you're doing, and would love to continue the conversation and around passports and how they could potentially be integrated with our platform. I had a really a quick one, knowing and seeing that you have just launched, or not just, I think it's been live for a few months, a marketplace, or an agent marketplace, as I understand. And would love a quick bit of information on, if I'm an agent builder, how do I get involved in that marketplace, and how would Gopher's trading platform potentially become a service within that marketplace, if indeed I'm thinking about this in the right way?
Or other builders watching this as well,
Yeah. So this is actually a good question. So today, I think we are stay tuned on the marketplace. I think one thing we're going to do is that because of the release of the X4 V2, and then it actually did a really good design of separate concerns here in this case. So previously, when we have released marketplace, there is actually no middleman to bridge the buyer and the seller for the agent. Like an agent is a buyer, who is a seller? It could be like an app, could be a merchant, could be a service in this case. I think what X4 and other people push forward is that introduce a middleman called facilitator in this case, and then the marketplace if eventually will replaced by a group of facilitator here in this case. So instead, we have, honestly speaking, to be fully transparent, we haven't decided as a Kite, we haven't decided if we're going to be support an official facilitator ourselves yet in this case. So instead, we're going to integrate with all the major facilitator in this case. I think we're going to be stay laser more focused on the agent passport and underlying payment layer, but we don't want to be the middleman. I think it's belong to all the other ecosystem project. Coinbase build facilitators themselves. There are a few hundred, I don't know, like few dozens, even to close to 100 facilitator in the market. OpenAI is building a facilitator. They don't call it facilitator, but OpenAI is building a merchant catalog themselves in this case. So in this case, so that's why I think we're going to eventually, instead of build a marketplace, that we're going to say, hey, be a aggregator or a facilitator in this case. So it's just one layer higher than the current marketplace. So I think that's the plan. But I think again, so agent is pretty new. Every single week you have something new here. Kite is trying to find the right place in the whole agentic world. For now, our laser focus on two things: agent passport, which including wallet and spending, and this execution and settlement layer for the agent payment. So that's why we're probably going to marketplace is just going to be an aggregator for facilitators here, but we're not going to integrate with each merchant directly ourselves.
Got it. Interesting. Thank you. I think that was very helpful for all the builders, agent builders watching us. Scott, thank you for joining us. You're welcome to hang out and ask questions as Grant wows us with some of the new features and functionality on Gopher. I know you're a busy man. Also welcome to drop. Look forward to, if you do, I look forward to connecting on Telegram on how we can partner further. I think there was a lot of interesting conversations between you and Brendan that we can continue to explore after this.
Yeah, we should get together, Scott, in the Bay as well. And when your grandma comes over, I'd like to meet her and we should go have tea.
All right. Thanks, Brendan. Appreciate our time. Happy holidays.
Yeah. So nice to meet you, Scott. See you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take
Thanks,
care.
Zach.
Bye.
I could see you being great with grandmas, Brendan.
The drunk grandma test is something I'm going to take from Scott moving forward.
Totally.
And apply that to. I think we should apply that framework to whatever we do, guys.
Yeah, every acceptance criteria and every ticket needs to have that as acceptance criteria. I absolutely love it.
Grant, welcome. Hello again. I know you have something exciting to show us. I don't know if you or Grant want to give us a little bit of a preamble or some context before you jump in. I'm still getting my head around what you guys have been demoing on Slack, and it's a reminder that, like, even for me, seeing what you've been discussing and previewing, I still would love a little bit more context in terms of the use case and what this functionality is. So I know you're technical and you love to get right in the weeds, but if you could start with some of that high level context for everyone joining us, that would be great. Or indeed, Brendan, if you want to chime in and give that before you fire up the demo.
I'm gonna give the stage to Grant because he is so in the weeds, and I love where he is living and breathing it right now.
All right, Grant, over to you.
Yes, thank you. So yes, it all started with me scrolling Twitter, as most side projects do, and I was getting served all of these Polymarket bots that were quite profitable. And the sort of perplexing thing is the tweet would make some claim about how the bot works, link to the bot, and then you would scroll through their transaction history, and you'd think to yourself, oh, this is super easy to reverse engineer. Let me just get all this data, see the patterns, and basically write code that does the same thing. And by the maybe fourth or fifth failed attempt of me doing this, I took a step back and I was like, yeah, no one on Twitter knows what they're talking about. And people are just looking at these crazy numbers and just making claims, and I'm the idiot, trying to engineer their stupid claims. And so I was working on this for about a week, on and off, and started to make a little headway as I tried out all of these different strategies, as I got really familiar with the Polymarket API, and just in general, the nuances of going from sort of simulated trading to actually production trading with order books and latency and just all this fun stuff. And as time went on, I basically had a goal, which was, can I actively arbitrage trade on Polymarket without really losing money? I don't need to make $1,000. I need to not lose money and very consistently make 5 cents, 50 cents, $2. We were focusing on these 15-minute Bitcoin price prediction markets. So there's 96 a day. So if you're making just $2 per market, compounded, I mean, this is insane money across the month. And so this was the thesis. Let me just show one of the bots that we were sort of modeling off of, just so everyone can get a sense more holistically of what we're going after here. So this is good old Gabagool. They joined just about 2 months ago. And let me.
The names crack me up, man. There's so many.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many funny names that fly around from Grant as well.
What I have trouble wrapping my head around is like, this person or group of people essentially built an absolute money printer, spent probably weeks to months to tens of thousands of dollars probably doing it, infrastructure, etc. And then they name it Gabagool, and the description is over here.
And Gabagool 22.
Yeah.
Don't forget the 22.
You gotta love the internet. But anyway, so let me blow some minds here. I'll go to all. So this account currently sits at $355,000. If you start over here, they started with 284. And you can see insane consistency. One of my favorite things.
Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Just for everyone that isn't paying attention or maybe paying attention, that was $284 to
on October
385,000.
Yeah, October 29th. $200, and then December 23rd.
Yeah. So this is why you join this Spaces, to learn shit like this.
Well, so this is why I got obsessed with Polymarket, because what's crazy about this, right, is like all of their activity all their trades are public. The profit is all on chain. It's verifiable. Everything is sort of completely public. And so the question then becomes, why is this so hard to reverse engineer? You have literally all the breadcrumbs. And so this is kind of what I've been after the last couple of weeks. And basically, after just stumbling a ton, got to the point where I was like, okay, I actually know how they're doing it, and I can replicate it for the most part. There's obviously things you'd want to tweak, and I'll continue tweaking, but the proof is definitely there. So we have a private repo that we've been working through, just generally how it works. So this is arbitrage. So I'm looking to buy equal shares down and equal shares up at a cost that's under $1. So the way Polymarket works is the one of the sides resolves to $1 per share, the other goes to 0. So your goal is to hold equal shares at the end. Basic in theory, insanely challenging in execution. There's various components, like it's a 15-minute window, so certainty and price fluctuation and order books and all these things are kind of constantly dancing around each other as we get closer and closer to resolution. So that's fun. We've had market swings where you go from 89 cents on the up to 10 cents on the up in a matter of 5 seconds, all the way to being sort of decided within the first minute or two. So that's been super interesting. In terms of configuration, where this thing currently stands is a mix of a overall strategy and then fine tuning. So you get the chance to put in a target spread, max exposure on shares of which, how directional you'll allow the bot to be in the beginning. How much capital do you want to deploy? And then another thing that kind of helps this thing along is this idea of fishing. So in the beginning, you're fishing for sort of cheap shares, and as time goes on, that gets to a resolution. So I will stop sharing and let me bring up the terminal here. Hopefully this works with no VPN.
We find that Polymarket is, unlike other venues that I've used, where their APIs are typically less locked down compared to their front ends. Polymarket's API is very locked down jurisdictionally compared to its front end.
Yeah.
Well, its front end as well. Compared to other platforms, is what I'm trying to say.
That's been a doozy as well, is testing on a VPN locally. I think it was a blessing in disguise because it allowed me to hone in on the strategy, knowing I did not have latency advantages at all. And so I was kind of basically getting this thing to
100%.
work. Yeah, with my hands tied behind my back. So, every time I saw a dollar lost, I was like, well, that might have been a profit on Hetzner. Like, who knows? But anyway, Zach, do you mind sharing my terminal? I think it's in the queue, maybe. Sweet. So unfortunately, there's 5 minutes left in this particular market, which is sad. But if I can ramble for 4 more minutes, we can see this thing start a fresh market. Before I start, I'll just talk briefly about some of the challenges. So obviously you're starting the bot mid-market, so it has to reconcile its current positions if it has any. You need to redeem any USDC that you've won back into the bot. It has to dynamically understand your current balance. It has to cancel orders as the price swings. And another aspect that I think really unlocked a lot of profit potential is this idea that how much you're willing to hedge your position is dynamic over the course of the market, right? So if you're late in the market, or if it's decided already, or if you're overexposed, all these things kind of play into the decision making. So I'll start the bot. You can see right away it loads and connects to all the WebSockets, and we are immediately up and running. The logs you're seeing coming in right now are order book logs. So up is at 21, down is at 78. You get a nice understanding of the sum of the bid and the ask. And currently we are chilling because there's 3 minutes left in the market. And it's basically saying, hey, you don't have enough advantage here. One of the things that became super clear in the analysis of all of these successful bots, there you go, it's actually redeeming $85, so that's fun. One thing you find successful is that they have 90% of their trading volume across the first 10 minutes when the markets are typically the most undecided. So really what this bot is doing is it's trading volatility.
That's a very cool stat.
Price. Yeah.
That's a very cool stat.
And
just explain why that is, Grant, from like an uncertainty perspective. Like as T shrinks, uncertainty goes down in the outcome. So like, yeah, just give people an idea of what that really means.
Yeah, it's a little complex because there's 3 kind of dancing factors. But basically, in these 15-minute rolling markets, in the beginning, obviously it's 50-50 on if the price is going to go up or down. But as you get closer, say 5 minutes out, if I see the Bitcoin price is $50 above strike, there's like a 90% chance or something that it's going to end up above strike. Whereas if Bitcoin is $50 above 2 minutes in, you're looking at like maybe a 60% chance or something, right? And so all these things kind of dance around each other pretty dynamically.
Yeah, and risk is like really front loaded in these markets. So you'll often find that a lot of the hedging and like de-risking and trading it out will happen in that moment. And as risk becomes like more certain and like lower later on in the market, the actual opportunity for gain goes down unless you have an outlier case where, in the way that like Grant is saying, the probability of a reversion from an up state to a down state is actually very low.
Totally.
And in that case where you get like how would I put it, an outlier case, the market is pricing for the unlikelihood of a 1 in 10 chance happening, as opposed to at the beginning of a market where all options are much more likely at the beginning. So you get much, much higher trading volume. That's a super interesting statistic, actually. 80%, did you say?
Yeah, so I could just literally talk for like 10 hours about this. what's crazy is in the analysis, that successful bot that's literally got almost 500,000, it didn't seem that intelligent the way that it kind of backs off the hedging strategy. It was really bucketed into the first 10 minutes, and I assume that is a sort of a hard-coded value that they have, versus the one I'm working with has a more dynamic approach to hedging. So we should actually see this thing still. My entire life has
Nice.
been run in 15-minute increments, which is actually it's been pretty fun because you get to iterate every 15 minutes. So, you see it before, maybe run it for 2 or 3 markets, and then you'll, hit the code and make some updates. But yeah, no, it's been interesting. The
Really quickly,
bot,
Grant, I just
ahead.
want to dive in because I have to jump, unfortunately, to an important phone call at 4. I just wanted to let everyone know that like the way that we're looking at taking this to market is to be different to the Alpha Arena, or the Alpha Royale. So Alpha Royale right now, you can deploy agents and you can build your own strategies. We're going to be releasing funding vaults, probably in 3 flavors. One way you can deposit capital into, and that will flow into some of the top agents that are running on the arena that we run. Then there'll be another pool for community built strategies where the funds will go into like the top agent on from the community, and then there'll be one for this Polygon strategy, and we're looking, Poly market strategy. We're looking to actually get those live next week, so you can start pre-funding. I think they'll fill up really quickly, and they will be capped pools, but that's how you get exposure. So Osiris, you don't need to think about anything. You'll just deposit USDC, and it'll be taken care of. We're also partnering with Teller on bringing a delta neutral funding strategy to market, and they'll also be working with us to provide additional liquidity into these strategies as well. So lots happening over the next 2 or 3 weeks at the beginning of the year, and both live trading and your opportunity to deposit funds into vaults to get exposure is coming really, really quickly, and it will be first come, first serve, and it will fill up, I think, really quickly because the pools will be smaller in V1 and capped. So great to see everyone. It's great to see numbers really popping up today. We're at like 500 views at the moment. And Grant, over to you guys. You can take us slowly wind down and have a very happy holiday, everyone. I'm so stoked you're all here, and maybe we can do a whitelist for the community for those vaults so you can get first. Sounds great. All right, everyone, take it easy. Sorry, I've got to jump, and have a happy holidays.
Bye.
So I can just kind of walk through what's happening here as we wrap up. So you're seeing this thing basically respond to the market. Live orders are coming in. As the order book kind of shifts, we see that it's canceling some orders and getting some fills. I have a pretty aggressive fishing strategy here where we're actually asking for 90 cents on the dollar. So we're not going to get as many fills as we would if we were maybe at 98 cents on the dollar, but each fill is more profitable. So right now the bot had to hedge a little bit, so we're sitting 15.15, perfectly even, and just a dollar loss as we continue to chase the volatility. So yes, very exciting. I would show you the UI, but if I load Polymarket, it'll detect that I'm not in Finland, so I'm not going to do that.
Very cheeky, Grant. And
yes.
Are you the creative brain behind the emojis, letting me know exactly what?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's helpful. There's mostly WebSocket connections here, so you have just kind of a stream of actions coming through. So I wanted something where you can get a sense of what's happening as text kind of flies across the screen. But obviously, you could build a UI around this and make it a little bit more digestible. But yeah, just rapid testing has been console only.
Got it. Can I parrot back from my undeveloped, non-technical brain what I'm looking at here and what I'm excited about as I understand it?
Yeah.
You've reverse engineered a bot that trades on Polymarket, a highly successful bot that trades on Polymarket. And you showed earlier how much money that bot has earned.
Yeah, it's quite a lot.
since November. Have I got that base understanding correct of what I'm looking at here?
Basically, yes, exactly. The nuances, what I liked, it's essentially an asymptote, right? Where it's like you can make a ton of progress over time, and then you'll get closer and closer and closer to the actual, performance over time as you tweak. And what we got to recently was essentially a profit leaning bot that I ran it before this call, 6 markets, it lost one, and it was maybe $4 in the green, using about $100 of capital. So this is kind of the performance that we were seeking, was can we compound winnings with not much capital, using a lot of these mechanics.
Got it. Really
Yeah.
exciting. And as Brendan mentioned, this will be added to a vault, or this particular agent and how it operates will be added to a vault that the community will be able to get involved with, capped. So move quickly when we announce that early next week. Grant, is there anything else you'd love? I know you said you could talk for hours and hours about this. I want to give you the opportunity to
Yeah.
talk for 3 more minutes, and that's it.
Yeah. No, yeah, perfect. The only thing I would add is really what the next steps would be with this. And basically, um, I maybe should have said this in the beginning, but it's easier to predict volatility than it is price. And so when you build a bot that's focused on, hey, how much is the price going to swing versus what is it going to be, it is much easier to predict the swing. And so the next step really is to use a lot of the products we've built at Gopher so far in terms of predictions, et cetera, to basically increase the edge here, right? So give the bot more intelligence on, hey, this is the target spread that you should shoot for this market, because we're expecting a highly volatile market, versus the other way around. In a flat market, you might want to keep your spread at 98 cents on the dollar, for instance, to get more fills in. So these are, now that we've kind of created a configuration that you can play with, the next step is essentially automating how that configuration changes over time. And the whole point is to basically just keep eating into that edge, right? And just trying to hedge risk, but obviously profit as well over time.
Thank you, Grant. I can't wait for the vault. I can't wait to get
Me
involved.
too.
I can't wait to see this develop further over the next few days. Actually, no, we're all taking a break because it's the holidays. I know that doesn't mean anything to you, Grant, but I hope you take a moment to. Listening to you speak and the excitement in and around it. I can tell this is just a joy for you to build, and you're
so fun.
Extremely excited about it. So it wouldn't surprise me if you're hammering this out and improving it over the next few days.
Yeah, no, thanks for giving me the chance to show it off.
Can't wait to continue showing it off as it develops. To the nearly 600 people watching us right now, this is the final alpha for everyone for the year. Wishing everyone a happy holiday. We're going to be back January 8th. As Brendan mentioned, another special guest, Teller, who we're launching another vault. One of the 3 vaults will be launching over the course of the next few weeks. Will be joining us and providing a little information on what it consists of and how you can get involved. We haven't talked too much trading today, but the regular disclaimer that this is not financial advice. It's for research purposes only. And the tools that Gopher provides are for research purposes only. Trading is an inherently risky practice.
Endeavor
is a better word to put it. Of course, the tools that we have created mitigate that in many ways, but it's still a risky endeavor. So this is not financial advice. Thank you, everyone. A quick reminder that on the screen is the link to our Go Trader Telegram channel. If you're interested in getting first look at these products and features that Grant has taken us through, plus more, that's where we drop the alpha on a day-to-day basis. If you're a trader, if you're a builder, jump in there. You'll find a really active and dynamic community that is discussing our tools and how to use them. Second to that, I already mentioned that we'll be back on January the 8th. On December 29th, we will be relaunching Alpha Royale, the AutoGopher, and you'll have the ability to create your own agents and watch them compete in the Alpha Royale battleground. Again, we'll be relaunching with paper trading, with real trading coming soon. Relaunching on the 29th. Look out for announcements on that and get involved.
On my birthday, nonetheless.
On Grant's birthday. Well, let's hope you launch a birthday agent and lots and lots of paper money.
Love it.
Thank you, everyone. See you on January the 8th. If you want to continue this conversation with the team, join Go for Trader channel on Telegram. We're going to be somewhat quiet until the new year, given the holidays. So wishing you all a lovely break, and we'll see you on January the 8th. Thank you.